Welcome to another episode on Weekend Learning with Transit. My name is Bola Mensah. For those who are joining us for the first time, I'm a certified human resource professional and an accredited management trainer. We are going to start looking at Series 2 today, Episode 1. So if you are joining us for the first time, I'll briefly just go over the goal of Weekend Learning with Transit. Our goal is that after every week work, we'll have the ability to learn practical skills that will help us to be exceptional employees. So we started with Series 1 and we did episodes 1 to 6. So if you're joining us for the first time, please watch it on our YouTube channel. And then we move to Series 2. We also had 6 episodes. The Team Leader's Edge. Because when you perform exceptionally as an individual, ideally, you should be promoted to replicate what you have done in others. And so today we are starting Series 3, Episode 1, the Business Owner Mindset. Episode 1 is titled Building Something That Lasts. So you can see it's from individual to a team and now to business owners. So please, always apply whatever you learn. Like I always say, if you don't apply it, it will just be like another book on your bookshelf. So let's dive in right away. And I want to talk about Chidi, a new business owner. Chidi left his job at one of the federal agencies in 2021 with 12 years of experience, a strong professional network, and a business idea he has been sitting on for 3 years. He registered a company, designed a logo, and built a website. He told everyone he knew that he was now a consultant. 6 months later, he had completed 2 paid engagements. Both were for people who already knew him. He had no system for finding new clients. He had no way of knowing which month will be financially good and which month will be financially not too good. He was working harder than he ever did when he was in full-time employment, but he was earning less and spending more time worrying about money than doing actual work. He had not built a business. He had built a job with no employer and no guaranteed salary. That's what Chidi has done so far. And this is the most common mistake first-time business owners make. They focus on what they offer and forget to build the structure that turns an offer into a sustainable operation. This series is about that structure, how to build something that does not depend entirely on you, working at full capacity every day just to survive. So we are starting with the foundation today. So I want us to now look at the difference between a practice and a business. There's an important distinction that most people who start business out on their own never make. And it is the distinction between the practice and the business. A practice is built around your personal skill. You do the work, clients pay you for your time and expertise. When you stop working, income stops. A practice is essentially a skilled job that you own. A business, on the other hand, is built around a system. It can generate revenue, whether you are present or not. It has repeatable processes, documented offerings, and the ability to survive, the ability to serve clients without depending entirely on you doing everything manually. Now, most solo consultants, freelancer, and new business owner, they operate businesses, but they call it, rather, they operate practices, but they call them businesses. I take that again. Most solo consultants, freelancer, and new business owners operate practices, but they call them businesses. There is nothing wrong with a practice, but you need to know which one you are building, because the decisions you make are completely different when you are running a business versus when you are running a practice. If you are building a practice, all you need to do, you optimize for your monthly, for your hourly rate, your reputation, and the quality of your client relationships. But if you are building a business, you need to think about systems, processes, and at some point, other people. Neither of the two is better, but confusing one for the other is expensive. So you need to know what you are building. Is it a practice? Is it a business? Now, I want you to reflect by asking yourself these 3 questions and answering them honestly. If you were unavailable for 6 weeks, will your business generate any income? Do you have a clear written process for how a client moves from first contact to paid engagement? Number 3, do you know right now how much revenue you need to generate every month to cover your cost and pay yourself? Now, if you answer no to 2 or 3 of these, you are operating on instinct rather than structure. That will work well when things are going on well, but it becomes uncomfortable when things are not going on well as expected. Now, I want us to look at 4 things that every sustainable business needs. Number 1, I don't want you to think that you need a large office, large team, or significant capital to build something sustainable. I went somewhere yesterday. I saw these 3 young men, and I was very happy, and I praised them. They just hired a shop, and they demarcated it into 3. One of them is doing a business center, one is doing laundry, one is doing a barbing salon. Instead of going to look for shops individually, see, they are just starting. And so 3 of them now are not paying for the rent instead of paying individually. So you don't need big offices, big money, and all stuff for you to start and do well and build something sustainable. However, you need these 4 things. Number 1, a clear offer. This means a specific description of who you serve, what problems your business is set up to solve, and what outcome are you aiming for. Specific statement of who you serve, what problem you solve, and what the outcomes looks like. For example, I help mid-sized companies improve their financial reporting processes. That's a clear offer. Versus, I provide consulting services in finance and strategy. That's vague. And the vaguer your offer, the harder it is for people to refer you. Number 2, a repeatable sales process. How do you find clients? How do you have the first conversation? How do you move from interest to proposal to payment? If you cannot describe this process in writing, you do not have a process. You just have a collection of things you have tried. The number 3 thing every sustainable business needs: basic financial discipline. Let there be a separation between business and personal accounts. Know your monthly fixed cost. Know your minimum monthly revenue target. Invoice promptly. Follow up on payment within 7 days of the due date. These 4 practices alone will significantly change the financial position of most small businesses. And lastly, a delivery system. How do you actually do the work? Is it documented anywhere? Could someone else follow your process? The business that depends entirely on the founder's memory and personal judgment cannot scale and cannot survive a bad month. So these 4 things are critical for every business that wants to be sustainable. So let's go to Chidi. Remember Chidi, the man that is working very hard but is earning less. So let's look at Chidi's turning point. What did he do differently that gave him a better result or a different result? 18 months into his consulting business, Chidi sat down and wrote out exactly what he did for clients, step by step, for each of his 3 main service areas. It took him 2 days. He hated every hour of the 2 days. But at the end of those 2 days, he had something he had never had before: a document that described his service clearly enough that he could use it to write proposals, train an assistant, and explain what he did to a potential client in under 2 minutes. He also sat down with a spreadsheet and calculated his numbers for the first time properly. His monthly fixed costs were 280,000. His minimum salary requirement was 350,000. That meant he needed to generate at least 630,000 every month just to break even and pay himself. When he looked at his previous 12 months, he had hit that number in exactly 4 months out of the 12. So which means the remaining 8 months, he didn't make that amount. That number, calculated properly and clearly for the first time, changed how Chidi made every decision going forward. Which client to pursue, which engagements to price more seriously, where not to spend time. Chidi did not need a business school, neither do you need a business school course. He just needed his own numbers calculated well, written down, and staring back at him to help him make the right decision for his business to break even and become sustainable. So this sustainable business that we are looking at, what exactly is the meaning of a business based sustainable? Sustainable does not mean large. It does not mean famous. It does not mean you have won awards or appear on a panel. Sustainable means your business can operate reliably enough that you can plan your life around it. You know roughly what is coming in each month. You have 2 or 3 months of expenses in a business account as a buffer. You are not taking on every client who contacts you out of desperation. You have enough margin to say no to a bad engagement without panicking. Most business owners spend their first 3 to 5 years in survival mode, chasing every price of revenue, every piece of revenue rather, and making short-term decisions that damage long-term positioning. Now, the shift from survival to sustainability happens when you get clear on your numbers. We're talking about money now. You tighten your offer, and then you build basic systems around how you work. It is not complicated, but it requires deliberate attention that most people postpone because of the immediate pressure of finding the next client feeling very urgent. So pause and remember this. It's not complicated, but it requires deliberate attention, and you must give it. Next, we are going to look at 3 things to do this month, or starting from when you listen to this, you watch this video. 3 practical things that will move you from operating on instinct to operating with structure. 1, write your offer in 1 sentence. Who do you serve? What problem do you solve? What is the outcome? If you cannot do this in 1 sentence, your offer is not clear enough, so you need to sit down and make it clear. Number 2, calculate your number. What do you need to earn every month to cover your business costs and pay yourself a salary you can actually live on? Not your target, your minimum. Write it down. Number 3, document 1 process. Pick the thing you do most often for clients and write down the steps. From start to finish. This is the beginning of a system. None of these 3 things will take you more than a day in total, but most business owners have never done all the 3. Please do it if you want your business to be sustainable, if you want to build something that will last. So what are our key takeaways from this episode? Know which you are building, a practice or a business. The decisions are different. Every sustainable business needs a clear offer, a repeatable sales process, basic financial discipline, and a documented delivery system. Calculate your minimum monthly revenue number and look at it regularly. It will change how you make decisions. Sustainability means predictable enough to plan around, not large, not famous, not perfect. This week, I want you to do one of these 3 things. Number 1, write down your offer in 1 sentence, or calculate your monthly number. Number 2, or document 1 delivery process. These 3 things, do 1 of them, or do all. You can do all, but you cannot do the 3 of them at once. So pick one that feels most uncomfortable. That is probably the most important one, the one that you don't feel comfortable with, the least one. Pick it and start with that. And honestly, if you do it and you are disciplined with it, you will see a change. You will build something that will last. So thank you very much for your time. We have come to the end of episode 1 of series 3. Now, please, if this episode added value to how you think about your business, please share it with someone who is building something of their own. Next Friday on Weekend Learning with Transit, we are going to be looking at episode 2 of series 3, Leading with Clarity, how to make decisions as a business owner without second-guessing yourself every time something goes wrong. Please subscribe, share with people, turn on your notifications. I'll see you next Friday. Thank you very much for your time.